Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling, so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if I could ever go without watermelon sugar.
Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Monday, February 1st, 2021, and you are listening to episode 102 of the Can I Say Something podcast. I am your host, Adam Recluse, with a juicy caboose, Damian. Joining me today is my little short squeeze.
I got diamond hands, not paper hands, it's Deej.
Today on the show, we will be discussing what we've been watching, reading, listening to, and playing, including episode 4 of WandaVision in and of itself on Hulu, Grindstone on iPhone 12, and concluding with an in-depth review of Steve McQueen's second feature in his Small X series, Lovers Rock. Right into the show, bicycle@gmail.com, bicycle on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, rate and review it on Apple Podcasts, tell a friend, family member, stranger. What's up, DN? How we doing?
I'm doing great. We're sticking it to the man, right?
We are sticking it to the man.
We're changing the rules real time. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, buddy. I got all my GMEs. I got a bunch of GMEs in my pocket right now. They're going up. They're skyrocketing. Stonks only go up. That's what I've been told, and they are so far. So that's great. I love it.
Can I give you some buzzwords, some
Sure.
phrases that have been thrown around?
Give it to me, Daddy.
This is the type of person that's turning the world on their head right now. Retard, artist, diamond hands. Please fuck my wife and her boyfriend. This is the kind of stuff that's getting thrown around.
Yeah, we don't.
It's turning the world upside down.
Yeah, we don't condone that nomenclature, those terms on the show. But that's what's killing. That's what's stabbing the giant. That is the David of the David and Goliath in this story. Are all those names? I'm assuming some of those names are what, Reddit users? Is that where you get those from? No,
this is just what they're calling each other.
Oh, right. Okay, yes.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, they're organizing, and it's like this is manipulation and everything, but they're all being very careful with what they say, where it's just like they'll give advice, and then at the bottom of it, they'll be like, by the way, this is not advice. I am not a financial advisor. It's like they're putting up a disclaimer, so if it ever comes back and there's investigations, and be like, hey, look, I said that was not advice. I just like the stock. That's all.
Yeah. There's a famous phrase in Hollywood which goes basically, nobody knows anything. Nobody knows what's going to be popular. Nobody knows what's going to work in terms of entertainment. I think you can also apply that phrase to Wall Street and to financial institutions. You and I have to sit here and say, yeah, we're not financial experts. We don't take our advice. But also, are you going to take Jim Cramer's advice? Are you going to take Susie Orman's advice on CNBC? Why? What do they know more than those people on the Reddits, you and me? What do they know exactly, you know?
It's actually been proven that if you followed Kramer's advice back in like 2008, you would be like on your ass. So
yeah. So
like he's actually in on it. You know, a lot of those people are actually in on it. So
yeah. I'm sure they have something where, you know how when I just got a new phone, so I swiped through so many terms of services that I just agreed to. I'm sure on those programs, it's somewhere on there that says, by watching this program, you are acknowledging that you cannot sue us for billions of dollars. We nothing we said on this program can ensure you actually made money. Our program, CNBC does not endorse the statements made by Jim Cramer at all on the show. So I'm assuming somewhere in the small print they've covered their ass legally somewhere.
Which you probably got like Robinhood doing the same thing. Somewhere in the small print, you probably agreed to them stopping sales of certain stocks at any certain time.
Yeah,
I know there's a huge uproar about it. And while that's not fair, but in the terms of agreement, you probably did not read. There is probably something in there that protects their ass.
Yeah, well, let's put some context to this. We didn't really say what happened this week. So I guess just normally when a company is dying, like let's say Blockbuster, when they died off, I don't know if they are completely dead. I know there's one store.
There's one store left.
Yeah, there's one store left, so there has to be some sort of, corporate entity that still remains of Blockbuster somewhere. But when a company does start to falter, start to die, what people will do, what financial investors will do, is called shorting the stock, which is basically, if I asked you, Dion, would you bet right now, bet that Blockbuster, the stock, is going to go up or going to go down right now? If you had to make that bet, what would you say?
I would say it would go down.
Right, and that would be the consensus. That would be the smart investment to bet that it will go down. And investment groups, hedge funds, also made that bet, because that was conventional wisdom, is that stock would go down, and it was going down. It was at $4, I want to say, at one point. And then the Reddit group, Wall Street Bets, that's the name of the subreddit, got together and said, hey, we could make a lot of money and also we can make money and cause this hedge fund group to lose a lot of money if we all got together and bought a shit ton of the stock. So what happens is when a lot of people buy a stock, what you're saying is that you believe that stock or that company has value, and so you are artificially inflating the value of that stock. And is that market manipulation? Is that what do you call it?
Collusion.
Collusion, or is it another word for it? Would be like collusion, but making it seem more valuable than it actually is. I forget the name for it, but yeah, that's what Reddit did. And at one point, it was worth worth more than Apple. At one point, it was worth like $40 billion. I think Apple's worth like $30 billion. So there was a lot of money going into that stock. And that investment group, I don't know if they've actually said the name of it. I don't know the name of it, but they lost a bunch of money because they put all their money into the other direction. They bet that the stock was going to go down. They shorted the stock, and they lost a bunch of money. So now people are pissed because they believe that Reddit and their actions resulted in a fraudulent, fraudulent, I don't know, loss of money, I guess, or fraudulent loss of money, but also fraudulent gain of money. I don't know what you call it. Market manipulation is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So
what they've been doing, except now they're dealing with it. Now they're on the other side of it. That's
exactly.
the problem.
Exactly. I have a tweet pulled up that basically explains short selling, which is, let's see. First, you have to understand what a short in trading is. A short is when you borrow a stock from a broker and sell it immediately at its current price. Then you hope the stock's price falls so that you can buy the stock back at a lower price and return the shares you borrowed to your broker by keeping the difference. Let's see. So let's say you want to short XYZ, the stock XYZ, at the current price of $10. I borrow one share and sell it immediately at $10. I have $10 now, but I owe my broker the one share I borrowed. Now, let's say the price of it goes down to $7. I decide to cover or buy it back, my short position, and buy a share at the $7 and return the one borrowed share to my broker. I made $10 when I sold and only had to pay $7 to buy it back, so my profit is $3. But let's say that instead of the XYZ price dropping to $7, it goes up to $15. I still need to return the one borrowed share to my broker, except now it is going to cost me a lot more to buy it back. If I buy it back at $15 so I can return the borrowed shares, I have a loss of $5 because between selling it at $10 and rebuying it at $15. So the price can rise indefinitely. My potential losses as a short seller are unlimited. At some point, I have to buy it back and return the shares I borrowed. The more the price rises, the bigger my losses. Now, for GameStop, a few weeks ago, a Redditor on Wall Street Bets noticed that the hedge fund had taken a massive amount of short trades against GameStop. They convinced everyone on the thread to join forces and buy as much GameStop stock as possible. This made the price rise, and the hedge fund's short position started to lose billions of dollars. Their losses even surpassed the $13 billion that the hedge fund was worth. Eventually, the hedge fund had to close their short positions and buy all the GameStop stock back at much, much higher prices, sending the price even higher still. This is called a short squeeze. Now the hedge fund is declaring bankruptcy, and the Reddit thread is combing through other hedge funds with massive short exposure so they can short squeeze them into bankruptcy as well. All of Wall Street is saying that the public joining together in this fashion should be illegal, but really they just lost at their own game to the masses. So there you go.
It trickles back to a little bit what you said too. Like when you watch these shows and people say, "Oh, this is an investment. You do this, do this, do this," and you take that person's advice, like Kramer, like what you were saying. Like, what is the difference between these people saying, "Hey, let's do this," and someone on TV telling you to do that, and then you do it, and then you lose money? What is the difference? There's no difference really.
There's none.
And honestly, yeah, it does sound sketchy because my question is, what's to stop anyone from doing this to another stock? You know, like they could pick something out. Yeah, because AMC. I mean, there were other targets like BlackBerry, Nokia, Bed Bath & Beyond. But I mean, this seems like could be like a thing that's manipulated. Well, I mean, it always has been, but it just seems like everybody could just jump on this now, and it's like, all right, I know this is kind of like a unicorn thing going right now, but we're calling it a unicorn because it's the first time we've seen something like that. We don't know what the next one will be and how quickly that next one will come around, but maybe it's a more common thing that people are letting on. But what's to stop people from doing it again, you know?
Yep.
Should they change the rules? Will the rules be changed?
No, you can't change the rules of the game just because you're losing. That's basically
I agree.
The whole thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's fine when rich people do it, but hey, it's like poor people, invest your money. And then it's like, oh, they start investing in money, they start making money, and they're like, wait, no, not like that. Didn't mean that.
Not like that. Exactly.
I do feel like some of these people though, they're like dogs chasing a car. Yeah. Like something's got to like give at the top, you know? Like if you're on the Wall Street bet side, eventually, like if they don't buy the short like they're talking about, there's a point where you got to recognize when it's a good time to get out. I know a lot of people are, saying things like, I'll never sell, which, going against capitalism and everything, if you're making a stand, that's great for you if you got the funds to pull that out. But not everybody has that. So it seems like they're all dogs chasing this car, and they don't know what to do when they get the car. But at some point, they got to sell. What is the next move for some of these people? Like at one point, you're going to be fighting each other. I feel like if the market doesn't tip the way they need it to, they're going to be fighting each other. It's just going to be chaos. And that's a sobering reality to this fun, tumultuous time they got going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. But a thing went super viral when your mom asked you about it. I was doing errands yesterday with her, and she's like, "So what is the GameStop, and why is the stock going up and people are mad about it?" I was like, "All right, first of all, stock went up, then people thought it was going to go down. So there you go. That's all you got. That's all you have to know."
Why is everybody calling me an autist with diamond hands? I don't understand. To the moon?
To the moon, baby. Yeah. So good luck. Good luck to the autist, I will say. Yep.
I like that Elon Musk can just say one word, game stonks, and boom, shit pops off.
Yeah. Isn't it market manipulation to say, like, I want my stock to be $420.69? Is that not market manipulation? Come on.
I love that. Like, they were telling people to like cancel their sale orders of $420.69 because it could go much higher. They're like, cancel that shit. And then they're like, this is not market advice. I am not a financial investor. I just like the stock. It's hilarious the way that they're playing all this out.
Yeah, this is I have the thing down here on my notes. It's all made up. All of this shit is made up. None of it is real. It can go away at any time. It's like the government in 2017 made the biggest tax cut in U.S. history. $2 trillion they gave a tax cut to the richest 1% of the country. We didn't have the $2 trillion, so what did we do? We printed $2 trillion. That whole thing of like government reserve money go brrr. That's what happened. When money went brrr, the printer went brrr for 2 years. They gave all this money. They printed all this money, borrowed it from the Chinese or the Japanese or whatever, and then just poof, it's gone. Just because the market took the shit last year when COVID started, and now it's gone. It's just like you can't just make a thing out of thin air. That's a law. It's a violation of. I tried to look this up. It's a violation of the first law of thermodynamics. You can't create something out of nothing. Everything from the beginning of the universe has been here, and it always will be here. You can't destroy anything. You can't create something out of nothing. You're just making up ones and zeros. That's all it is. Your bank account says $2 trillion. Next day it says zero. Nothing happened. Nothing was created. Nothing was destroyed. It's all just made up.
Oh yeah. Money is a social construct. Okay?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Just a way to keep everybody in line. So.
Yeah.
But hey, buckle in and enjoy the ride. It's not over yet.
Yeah. Moving on. What we've been watching, I literally just watched, or I didn't literally just watch it. I watched it this morning. Episode 4, WandaVision, entitled a thing. I should have it pulled up, but I don't. Do you have it in the? Do you have it on the front of your mind?
I don't have the title, but we didn't talk about episode 3 either. Because I hadn't watched it last week. So let's jump back to 3 because I actually have something I want to.
Sure, go ahead. Talk about WandaVision episode 3.
All right. I just while I was watching this one, it cracked me up because Wanda's pregnant and the whole episode's like moving real fast. It's like, oh, when the twins coming in, it's like, oh shit, they're coming right now. But throughout the whole episode, she's having some serious problems when you say controlling her powers. Did you notice that, Damian?
Yes.
And it kind of like alluded to the fact that, she's pregnant and she's got like a lot going on and she just can't handle everything. It's almost like there's something going on that's making her powers go haywire, wouldn't you say?
What could that thing be, Dion? Is there a name for that?
Like maybe she's like pregnant or something and it affects women in a weird way where they just, even a superhero has a strange reaction and it can't be explained.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you noticed something like that, Damian.
Are you talking about her hormones being out of whack? Is that the thing you're alluding to right now? Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. All right, buddy. Now the difference here that you're not seeing is that this show is about her and her mental state, and maybe she's pregnant, or she is pregnant with potentially. She's pregnant with I think they're going to explain it as an AI. She's pregnant with a computer algorithm, and this is where the babies come from. But this show is about that. This show is not about social upheaval. The show is not about corrupt, racist police breaking into somebody's shop, which is what the Mangrove was about. Now, if Mangrove was about a woman going through emotional upheaval, if it was about only her trauma, then I can understand that. About her emotional and mental trauma, then sure, we can. That is a valid argument. I was thinking about this week of how to frame this. Is like, the show. Or the movie, was Mangrove was about social upheaval, was about the police breaking into their shop and harassing them, and didn't really have much to do with her being pregnant. So to bring that up, I feel like is so irrelevant that I don't know exactly why it does need to be brought up. But we're going on to a tangent here. Let's we want to talk about Now in Color. I have all the episode names pulled up here. So episode 3, WandaVision, was called Now in Color. The synopsis is: Wanda's pregnancy fritters her powers as she and Vision prepare for an accelerated delivery. So this is the first episode.
Is that how they explained it?
Yeah, this is the synopsis on IMDb.
Oh, all right.
How would you describe it?
Oh, I think that's pretty accurate. I have no issue with the way they explained that.
So the first episode takes place in the 50s. Second episode is the 60s. Now it's in color. Now we're in the 70s. So what did you think of the third episode overall?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
There were a few takeaways. The switch when they went from era to like the 70s to the 80s. It went from the what would you call that? The aspect ratio changed. I guess that's what it would be.
Very cool.
And the colors, obviously. My favorite part in it was when Vision kind of had that, something's not right here.
Yeah.
Everything is not good in Kansas.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a fun episode, though. What'd you think?
I want to talk about this in context of episode 4. Did you see episode 4 yet?
Oh, yeah, I saw episode 4.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of this wraps around directly into episode 4. So when Vision comes into the room, we kind of know what had happened at that point. But yeah, just talking about episode 3, in and of itself, it's very good. I think Elizabeth Olsen is a very good actress. I think she definitely shows her acting chops here. When she's talking to forget the person's name. I can pull it up here. She's talking to not Agnes, Geraldine. She's talking to Geraldine, and Geraldine makes note of Ultron, and then I believe Wanda talks about her brother Pietro for the first time since Age of Ultron. And you can see this entire show is going to be callbacks to the MCU. There's going to be callbacks specifically to her to a lot of moments in Age of Ultron with Scarlet Witch, and I think you can definitely see the switch in her brain, in Wanda's face and her mannerisms. You can definitely call back and see the references in her mannerisms to when she's like upset in Age of Ultron or any of the MCU movies, and her face and the way her hands move. It's very, very cool. Very cool to see that on her face. So yeah, very good episode overall. Definitely want to see what they're talking about when Agnes and Herb are talking, and Herb's like, we're all, and then Agnes looks at him like, don't say it. Don't fucking say it. Definitely.
I think he was trying to say we're all stuck here.
Stuck here, yeah, obviously, sure. But it's interesting to see if Agnes has any part in this. I think Agnes. Yeah, okay. I don't know who she is in the comics, but I think a lot of people are alluding to her part in this. I don't know if this whole thing could have been constructed all by Wanda. So. Definitely interested to see what her part plays in this. Like, it's also interesting if Agnes has a lot of control over this environment, why she was so, like softly saying to him, "Don't say what you're about to say," as opposed to like her doing something with maybe her potential powers, where she's just like, physically shutting him up with something like that. She could have done a lot of things, but she's like, please don't say that. Please. No, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's either some real fear going on, or I actually kind of took it too, where maybe they understand Vision's situation and they're kind of being cautious with him. There's in episode 4 where, Wanda's looking at him. Yeah. And it shows him, he's like, "What's wrong, honey?" And she sees him as dead
as he
Vision.
is. Yeah. Let's go ahead and say, like, from the beginning of the show, we should just say spoilers all the time, everywhere, all the time for all of this stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
well, we could put that in the notes or something. There are spoilers in this.
Yes.
And people look at the podcast description and be like, "Oh, okay, well, maybe I'll check that out."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so yeah. Okay, so Vision's a corpse. And if you think about it in a different way, maybe they are aware that Vision is not, alive. And to tell him what's going on would, break whatever Vision is. Maybe they're looking out for him a little bit there.
Yeah. Break what he is and break his reality. What he must have like some sort of, grip on the reality of this place, and if you sort of say to him what he is, then that would suspend his disbelief to the point where he can't be animated anymore. Like he's definitely reanimated, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's just a figment of her imagination. And if there's any sort of suspension of illusion to what is going on here, then his framework, whatever he's made of, will just disappear. So.
Yeah. I guess I was gonna just go through my notes that I had from episode 4. Yeah. So returning from the snap, that whole intro, was chaos.
Yes.
Seeing yourself materialize and having no idea what happened, and then just like that hospital was just overrun, and they're like, "It's been like 3 years since you've been here." Yeah. Or 3 years since it happened, and you were gone, and now you're back, and this is what was it? 5 years? That was the gap, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's just everybody running around like a chicken with their head cut off was pretty nuts. I said this is what I said. I said, "Damn, Wanda got that post-pregnancy brain going hard."
Yes,
that one's for you. That one's for you. Got the introduction of a few past characters. We got the cop from Ant-Man.
Yep.
Yeah, and we got what's her name? The one from
Darcy.
Thor.
Darcy.
Darcy.
I like Darcy.
She's a character. I like Darcy.
I like her a
she's
lot.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I get that coffee? No. 12 hours later, she's still asking for the cup. Yeah, and then I was like, the look Vision gives at the end, it was just like, LOL. And then I asked if she was reanimating Vision's corpse. Do you think that's what's happening right there? Is it reanimation, or is it just figment? What's your stance on it?
I think it could be either one. I think some people were throwing around the idea that all these people are dead. I don't think that tracks, because as they're looking up who these people are, I think they would have noticed that they died. I think that would have been something they would have mentioned if all of these people that are in this quote unquote show, if they were dead, they would have noticed that, I think. They would have said that. Mm-hmm. I don't know about...
Are you saying from the people watching from the outside, or you're saying the people on the inside would know that they were dead?
I'm saying the cops...
Darcy said that they knew Vision was dead.
When Woo, what is his name? Jimmy Woo was the FBI agent, I think, and he's going through and recognizing all these people and finding their real identity in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
So when he's doing that research, I think he would have stumbled upon the fact that they were dead pre them being in that environment.
True.
Yeah.
That would be crazy, though. Imagine that if she just was just reanimated corpses and just having like a puppet show.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's dark for Disney.
I want to back up a little bit and talk about the beginning of the episode. Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man the Wasp does the card trick that he learned from
he finally got
Scott Lane.
Yep.
Huh? Yep. He
Good
did
for
that.
him. 5 years practicing. He finally got it.
Yeah. So he clearly wasn't one of the snapped, because he probably took that long to learn that trick. Yeah. So let's go through it a little bit. Monica Rambeau is the daughter of, let me see, they have the name here, I thought they had the name here, but not. Maria Rambeau, could be. Yeah, anyway, so she rematerializes. You can hear Carol Danvers' voice nicknaming her Little Lieutenant Trouble, a reminder of the bond that they shared in Captain Marvel. The drone that Monica sends into the Westview features Captain Marvel colors. Let's see, on this website here, it says, is it possible Monica made it through Wanda's energy field because of her latent powers? Monica in the comics has some powers. She eventually does take up the mantle of Captain Marvel for a little bit. Did you notice, some people on the Reddits noticed that she was shot through 4 walls? Breaking the 4th wall is a common name of a trope when you acknowledge that the show is a show. So I thought that was interesting.
Nice.
Yep. Maria Rambeau, yes, thank you. That was her mother's name. She worked for SWORD. She was probably the founding member of SWORD. Let's see. Sword. So yeah, it was a very cool episode. It was sort of one of those things. I like that it's that Darcy and Jimmy are sort of the proxy for the audience. They're like, what is going on? Why is it a TV show? Why is it these decades? Why does he show a different decade? Is it just here to entertain us? What is all this? It's like a living embodiment of a Reddit thread.
Yeah, I like how Darcy was getting involved with it. It was like, oh, it's twins, and she's like, oh, she's like, what? I'm invested.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So it's interesting that they tied up a lot of the questions, or questions or weird Easter eggs that we had. You have the beekeeper being one of the agents. Agent Franklin, I guess, was his name, coming up, and because he was wearing a hazmat suit, he got transformed into a beekeeper. So that's where that came from. We got explained the drone in there that she found. So there's a bunch of different things where you're like, oh yeah, of course, okay, this lines up and that lines up. So it'll be interesting to see going forward. I definitely want to see episode 5 being longer. I want to see it it'd be interesting to see if, now that they revealed what is going on outside and what is happening in real time, be interesting to see if they do something where they open with the Darcy stuff and the FBI stuff, or if they interlace it with stuff in the show. I definitely want to see more of the outside stuff than the inside stuff. But yeah, do you have any more theories of what's going on in the show?
No, I think you nailed it. I honestly think it's Wanda's trying to work something out, or they got her in there. Someone's got her in there, knowing that she's a danger to everything. And yeah, I don't know. They're just trying to find a way to get her out, which I don't think is a great idea right now. Just gotta let her grieve.
Yeah,
but then again, it doesn't seem like she's willing to come out of that place necessarily, because the Vision keeps saying, we don't have to stay here. And she's like, yeah, we do. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird to look back on this stuff and realize how close together it all happened for these people, because we're coming up on the 3rd anniversary of Infinity War, and basically all of Infinity War and all of Endgame took place within, like, for the people that got snapped, it took place within, a few weeks of each other. Thanos coming down, the end of Infinity War, him snapping, everyone disappearing, and then everyone coming back was, like a day or a week, a weird couple of weeks for them. Everyone comes back. This takes place at the end of Endgame, with everyone coming back. So for them, for us, it's been like 3 years, but for them, it's been like, a couple of weeks. So it would make sense.
For them, they don't even realize it's a couple of weeks, do they?
So I'm just thinking about it from, like, when Thanos came down at the end of Infinity War, he snaps, everyone disappears, and then 5 years later, they're just back. They don't know if 5 years even happened. Like, I'm assuming there were some.
She thought she took a nap.
Yeah, she thought she took a nap. She thought she was out for 20 minutes. So for them, this entire, like, everything from Infinity War through Endgame, they don't know anything about that. So
yeah.
Yep.
Also, my last comment on episode 4 is I will never not mark out for Voodoo Child.
That's a great
The close of that episode was fucking phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
You just hear that and it's like, yeah.
Yep. Hulk Hogan had that for his entrance theme for a while, and we were, I think me and Andy were out seeing like a SmackDown taping in Albany or something, and I think Hulk, they played his music, and we were like, it's just gonna be a promo. It's gonna be just a pre-recorded promo or whatever, and it fucking came out. The man himself came out, and it's fucking amazing. So yeah. Great song.
Hogan making a house trip to Albany. What the? How much did he get paid, brother?
It was nuts. But yeah, great song.
That song's phenomenal.
I'm listening to all this stuff on my headphones, so hearing that, the what do you call it? Spatial sounds, the back and forth, the reverb back and forth between your left ear and your right ear and behind you is,
whammy.
Great. The whammy bar.
Sweet.
Yep. Back and forth. Yeah. Great show, or a great
They should
song.
close every show like that.
Huh? Say it again.
They should close every show like that.
They really should. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. But again, it's got to be. They got to start expanding stuff. I think the show is going to be 9 episodes, so we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 more to go. You just gotta maybe make them longer, because a lot of the feeling about the show on the subreddit is just like I blinked and it was over. It was just, again, it's like 22 and a half minutes. You got to give me a little bit more there, a little bit, at least a end credits stinger. Maybe they'll probably do something like that on the last episode, but something at the end to be like, okay, this next week on WandaVision, this thing's gonna happen. Okay, give me some of that. Yeah. So, what was I going to say? I got, so on Binge Mode, they're catching up. They're on Infinity War Part 1 and 2. So they only have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and Endgame to get through. So that's cool. Read some more Dresden Files. He released a second collection of short stories called Briefcases. They have different narrators for each story, based on if it's a female or not, which is always fun. Different perspectives. One is Molly Carpenter. She is one of the most powerful wizards in the book. She becomes the Winter Lady, which probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but she's basically like the ward, or the second in command, but like the assistant to one of the winter gods. In this world, this book is really changing my thoughts and perspectives on fairies. I always thought of fairies in the context of like, magical worlds and supernatural shit as being like, you're neat, you're a fairy. Okay, great. Go be a fairy. Go mix me a drink or whatever, or do some tasks. But I guess I know. I guess they are some of the most powerful creatures in folklore. So
yeah, sometimes fairies are even demons. It's not like the bubbly Tinkerbell type stuff. It's right. They got like sharp teeth and they're not nice.
That was always my impression of fairies was the Tinkerbell. So, yep. They got different.
Yeah, I mean that's accurate.
Huh?
That's accurate.
Yeah. So, very good. Still, I'm working my way through it. I got 2 more books left. One is called Peace Talks, and one is Battleground. So, getting to the end of that. Then, right before the show, I watched In and of Itself. I had to sign up for the last streaming service. I feel like Thanos collecting all the stones. I got the Mind Stone, and I got the everything. Got the Reality Stone. I got the Hulus, and I got the Netflixes, and the Amazons, and the HBO Maxes. Now I got the Hulu Plus or whatever.
All the streaming
streaming services into my hand. Yeah. I need to write a strongly worded letter to Mr. Hulu, Mr. John Hulu. You need to not have your Hulu insignia on the bottom of the screen. I pay for this shit to not have commercials, to not have any sort of that crap. I think
my version.
I noticed it with this and with Stars too. Stars insignia will pop up on there. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I cut the cord a long time ago to get rid of this shit. I don't want this little Hulu thing to be popping up on my screen the entire time.
I'm consciously paying you 6, 10, 15 bucks a month.
Yeah.
I know what service you are. You don't have to advertise it in the corner, basically.
Exactly. Now it's what, fucking $18 for Netflix? Is that what they just upped their thing to the other day? I saw that.
Did they?
Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Dude, if they upped it to 18, I am out.
I want to say
quality
they did.
of movie is not that good
for $18. You know, I'll do a little check later. But in and of itself is a performance, a magic performance show, or not show, but a routine, I guess you would call it. By oh Jesus, I should have my stuff here, but I don't. In and of itself,
you're a busy man. We get it.
In and of itself, starring Mr. Derek Delgadio. So they're describing it on Hulu as a lyrical poem. It tells the story of a man fighting to see through the illusion of his own identity, only to discover that identity itself is an illusion. An intimate and powerful exploration of what it means to be and be seen. The film chronicles Derek Delgadio's attempt to answer one deceptively simple question: who am I? His personal journey spans to a collective experience that forces us to confront the boundaries of our own identities. So it's good. I feel like a lot of it is, I don't know. My mind kept going to, do you remember John Edwards' Crossing Borders or whatever the show was called? Remember the show back in the day? Crossing Over, yeah. And all of these shows, all of that stuff was like, I'm talking to your dead father or whatever, and he's telling you that he's fine, blah, blah, blah. It's very, emotionally manipulative to do that shit. And this does a little bit of that too, where he's sort of saying like, he like holds an envelope to his head and he's like, tell me who's the most important person in your life right now. And then he taps his head and he gives him the envelope, and it's this letter that's written in the form of the writing style, like penmanship writing style, but also how the person writes, and he gives it to them, and it's like this really personal note from their father, mother, grandfather, or whatever. And it's like, I see what you're doing there, and it's very nice, and the person likes it, and they obviously what do you call it? Like they let that happen. They liked it, and they signed off on it. They allowed that to be part of the show. So. They believed in it, and it's fine for them. But I don't know. It's so weird that's the magic
you're looking
of
at
the
the type of person that's attracted to that kind of thing, and that's where your squeamishness comes from.
Yes.
Like you can see that it's kind of manipulation. I mean. That's your take on it. I mean, I also believe that it's a little bit of mental manipulation as well.
Yep.
But for them, they actually believe it, and that's where the disconnect is, I guess. I mean, who's to say that he doesn't have like some kind of foot in the on the other side? I don't know, deep down. But a lot of it, I always thought was just like reading the room. It's not so much like Family Guy or like Peter's like somebody here lost somebody with the letter A,
right?
And nobody answers. He's like, letter B.
Yep.
C, D, E, and keep going down the list. It's not that bad, but it's like once you let somebody in, they can just start picking everything apart. They pick up on facial reactions faster than you could. They're like psychologists, or there's criminal investigators that do the same thing. There's ticks you do. It's just like, all right, I'm onto something. Let's keep poking at this thread, or pulling at this thread. So, yeah, I get it completely. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
just me looking at it, and also I listen to a bunch of. I gotta stop looking at reviews before I watch the things. I listen to a podcast where
always after, never before.
Huh?
Always after, never before.
Yeah, there's a podcast I like a lot, and they sort of talked about this. They didn't go into detail. They didn't say anything about what was the events of the show, but one guy mentioned that at the beginning of this thing, they mentioned that it's a performance that he's put on 525 times, and that sort of gets into your brain where you're thinking, okay, so he's done this hundreds of times, and there's parts of the show where he gets very emotional, the audience gets very, very emotional, and you can't help but think, okay, he's done this so many times. This isn't how authentic is his reaction? How authentic are the people's reaction? That's the cut. You're watching basically an amalgamation of the 500 performances. So at some point they're picking out the best of the best reactions to what he's doing. So you can definitely see the stitching and the machinations in there too.
But it could go even further than that too. You think plans. It's you said you did it 500 plus times. Like, how do you know that someone's not getting paid to be there? We've gone over this story. You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Plus, the mind sees what the mind wants to see. Yep. Like, when you talk about that handwriting letter, like it might not be like a spot on photo I don't know, copy basically of whoever wrote that letter, but your mind will see it that way if he tells you that's what that is. Then yeah. I don't know. Shit's crazy. It's bananas.
So that's a bunch of my negative thoughts on it. Some of the positives. I think you should watch this. I think it's very good. If you're at all impressed by sleight of hand stuff, he does a bunch of stuff where it's just like, wow. Okay, you not only did the sleight of hand thing where you're doing a, what do you call it? Not a distraction, but you're saying like, look over here. While you're looking over there, I'm going to do a thing that you weren't even thinking of. Possibly even that even being a trick or being an illusion. So he does a lot of stuff that with the card tricks and with a lot of the like. I'm gonna ma'am, stand up and look under your seat. There's a card there. That kind of stuff always impresses me a lot.
Is this your card? No. Check under your foreskin.
Yeah. But a lot of it's just like. Just a lot of like manipulation with perspective manipulation, where he's got a thing, and he does this like what do you call it, a silhouette with shadows, and then it's like he has a bottle with some sort of liquid in it, and then he has like a little paper ship, and he somehow pushes the bottle into the ship, and the ship like somehow slides into the bottle. It's very cool looking. I definitely recommend it based on the magic itself, but not so much on the cultural or social manipulations that you're doing. So
he's not. This isn't like a magic show. It's not. He's not a magician. Like
he is.
Well, is that what this is, or this was like a crossing over thing, or was it kind of like a hybrid?
It's a hybrid of basically. Okay. I have in my notes here like it was very kind of creepy actually that he says at the very beginning of the show what I was saying about soul, which is what people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up, and when you're an adult, people ask you what you want to do. So the central idea, the central theme of the show that I took away anyways was him saying like, okay, you might be a carpenter, you might be a construction worker, you might be an oil rig worker, but let's break it down to what you actually are. And the thing that he wanted people to take away from them reading the notes from their relatives was like, you're more than you think you are, and you're more than other people think of you. You might have come here thinking that you are one thing, but you're somebody's daughter, you're somebody's father, you're somebody's son. So it's a lot of that kind of thing of like, you are more than you are a multitude of things. You're not just one thing. So I thought, in that way, it was a very nice presentation of the central idea of the show. I just thought that parts of it didn't really work for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see now what you're saying. It's not so much one or the other, but it was just kind of, and it almost feels more like a motivational gathering. That's with the pageantry. There's pageantry as well. So.
Exactly. You got it completely. Yeah. So I do recommend it just because it was like 90 minutes. It wasn't like 2 hours. It wasn't 2.5 hours. It was a 90-minute thing that I think I would recommend. Definitely. So that was about what I've been watching, got a couple more things to talk about, but why don't you go ahead and talk about the things that you've watched this week?
Things that I've watched this week. Yeah. So
bring it.
Well, you haven't actually brought it up yet. So
yes,
you were talking about Godzilla Kong trailer coming out in March.
Yes.
Yeah. You seem hyped for that. You're ready to go.
Woo! Bring it.
But anyways, I didn't actually realize that this was part of a MonsterVerse.
Yes,
Were you aware?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. So there's already four movies. You got Godzilla from 2014.
Yep.
Kong Skull Island.
Yep.
Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yep.
And now you will have Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yes.
I have not actually watched any of these four movies, so I got it in my head to go and watch these four movies. I haven't gotten around to watching all of them yet. I have done the first one, Godzilla from 2014. This is my opinion on it. It was not great. Ultimately, I gave it a thumbs down.
Yeah.
It had a budget of $160 million, and it did a worldwide gross of $525 million. Yep. So I mean, I guess that was pretty good.
Yep.
I found it funny when you find out who these characters are. Bryan Cranston is the dad.
Yep.
I was like, really? Like, I don't remember this at all.
How much was he in this movie?
He was in it for like, I don't know, a good part of it.
No.
I believe
he was into the first
like half of it.
No.
Well, I mean,
35 minutes, maybe. It depends max.
His presence was in the movie, you know, but it was he obviously was in Japan for some of it, and then you go back to America and whatever. But yeah. So Bryan Cranston was in it, but still, like, it was just like, really, like, I wasn't expecting that. And then I found it really comical that you had both Scarlet Witch and Pietro.
Yep.
Except now they're actually husband and wife, and it's just like, oh, that's a little on the nose right there.
Yeah.
But I will say that Aaron Taylor Johnson is not a good lead. Like, I did not like his acting at all in this. Like, it was
take.
He just seemed out of place. He was blown away by Bryan Cranston's minor role, and Elizabeth Olsen was even crushing him acting wise, and she's a good actress, I will say. But just Johnson was just man, like I wish they put somebody else in there. How
do you?
So a couple takeaways.
Yeah, 1 second. How do you compare him in this to Tenet? Was he better in this or in Tenet?
I'm gonna say he was better in Tenet because I didn't expect anything out of him.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you are the lead of a movie, there's a certain standard I'm gonna hold you to, and I don't think he met that bar at all.
Yep.
So a couple takeaways from the movie. Godzilla deserves KO of the night bonus. Give him that fight of the night bonus. Not the fight itself wasn't that great, but the way he finished that fight was like, Dana White, sign him now. I wish the battles were done better. So you've watched this, I assume?
Love it. Love it.
You love it because I thought that the fights were weak. Like, they show 10 seconds, like, oh, here he comes, and it's like, oh, Godzilla's coming, and then the camera cuts away to humans doing human things, and it's like, no, I don't want that.
Right.
And then eventually we'll get back to the fight, and that's like 20 seconds of a fight, and then we go back to humans doing human things for another 10 minutes, and I'm like, stop it. I don't care about humans. I don't care about the nuke. Show me these titans kicking each other's shits in, you know? Like, they're like, we got to get this nuke to point B, but the whole time, these monsters feed off of radioactivity. So it's not like this nuke is like, whoa, they introduce a nuke to the story. No, the whole movie is based on nuclear presence. Like, in fact, bringing a nuke to this fight almost seems like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Like, it's not going to do a damn thing. You're just feeding these creatures. But ultimately, I think Godzilla, there were a few scenes in it where it's like Godzilla's presence was like top notch.
Yep.
Like when he's standing in the broken down city, and like he's got the buildings crumbled, the smoke around him, and he's got the moonlight shining on him.
Yep.
That was cool. He was just like standing there. It was like dark silhouette Godzilla.
Yep.
Like I'm not gonna mess with him. But it's a bad movie. I'll say it. So my next movie I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna get Skull Island. I'll have it for you next week.
Fantastic. I love Skull Island. I'm gonna send you. I sent you the best Godzilla villains. You have a question here. You go ahead and ask it. It's your question. But
no. Go ahead. I was going to ask you
the best
Godzilla villain.
Best Godzilla villains. So I don't want to spoil the next one, or not the next one, but the sequel to this. Several more Godzilla villains will appear in the next one, the next Godzilla sequel. I'm going to go ahead and say King Ghidorah. Ghidorah is my favorite. Ghidorah is my favorite Godzilla villain. That's fair. Yeah, people. If I've never seen these movies or don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically a dragon with no arms, but he's got 3 heads and he's got wings. So it's a very, very cool looking dude, cool looking villain. So, yep.
I will say that these 2 monsters in this Godzilla movie, they were stomping the shit out of Godzilla a few times. And he was saved by these quick, like, oh, they did this, and oh, we got to go over there because they did something. And then Godzilla like appears out of nowhere. It's like, oh, you thought you finished me, but you didn't. Here I am.
Yeah.
And then he gets stomped again. But then eventually he just goes ham on him. And, do you like that picture I put in the notes?
Yes.
So for the people, obviously you can't see this, but he had the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. It was linked to it, but I put underneath it in a picture. I found recently that I'm going to put pictures in the notes now.
Go ahead.
To fully relate my feelings to you. And I'm not using words. I'm just using memes. It has Godzilla, and it says, "I'm literally a walking nuclear power plant. What is your ability?" And then it's got this crappy ass drawn picture of a monkey, and it just says monkey. Which leads me to my next question: who wins that fight for Godzilla vs. Kong?
Listen.
Like, it's got to be Godzilla.
King Kong has one advantage over Godzilla, and that is an opposable thumb. He can grab shit and hold on to it, which I think if you watch the trailer, King Kong has like a Mjolnir type weapon that he's going to use against Mr. Kong or Mr. Godzilla. He's gonna smash him in the face.
Oh shit! Really?
With his own Mjolnir.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, you got to watch that shit, dude.
I'll have to watch the trailer. I didn't know he's got Thor hammer on his side.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
that changes things dramatically.
Yeah.
So do you have an idea who wins? Because I read that they said that there will be a clear winner in this.
Well, there's going to be. Spoiler alert for maybe this movie and for the trailer if you haven't seen it, but there is clear indication that the Godzilla that we're seeing in some of the previews here, and he's trashing the cities for no reason. He's actually Mecha Godzilla. And so Mecha Godzilla is a fairly famous villain in the Godzilla universe. So that's probably what we're seeing there. So, yes.
I'll jump back into some of the stuff I watched. I watched The Little Things. It's on HBO Max. It has Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. Mm-hmm. It's a good movie. I liked it. It's your typical crime thriller situation. One thing, I mean, it doesn't really do anything that you haven't already seen before. In fact, it kind of overplays. Like they'll say, like, "Oh, we just found this crime scene. Did you eat your breakfast yet?" I hope not. And then you see it, and then you're like, "Well, that's not that bad." Like, you've definitely seen worse, which I appreciate because I did just eat, and I didn't want to puke everywhere. So I'm happy to see that it wasn't as brutal as they were leading on. I respect the ambiguity that came from this movie. I'm not going to spoil much of anything, but you're kind of, when I left this theater. Or not the theater. When I left my living room.
Yeah.
You don't have an idea. I mean, you have an idea. I'll say it right. You have an opinion on what happened, and there are other options available. But and if someone was to be like, "Well, I think B happened," and you'd be like, "Well, I can see that. I can see that B is a possibility, but there's never enough evidence to make you like completely sway your opinion and be like, all right, yeah, I agree with you. B, it was B. Like, you're going to stick to your guns. So everybody's going to come out of this with like this idea that, no, this is a situation. No, this is. And even if you argue it back and forth, I don't think you're going to have enough evidence to overturn your opinion. And I appreciated that. And I know I'm always like, I like clear-cut endings. But sometimes when when I don't want to say it. I don't know, the mental impact that it had on all the characters, how each story kind of did get wrapped up, even though there was still so many question marks left. That is an ending in itself. And I appreciated that. So I give this movie a thumbs up. I know some people didn't think it was phenomenal. I saw IMDb gave it a 6, but I enjoyed it. And well, go ahead. You got anything?
Just a little thing, which is can I say something real quick?
A little thing? You said a thing? Can I say something? The little
main thing about this movie that people brought up, Sean Fennessy brought up on the Big Picture this week, is that it was written in the early 90s. And the only review that I pulled up here, well, the review that I first pulled up here from ABC News says that it feels like a movie that was written in the 90s. This could have been a movie that was released in the 90s. I'm just curious if you felt the same or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it could have been. I saw people comparing it to something like Seven.
Yeah,
and it does have like that kind of vibe. I feel like this could have been put in any era, really.
Okay.
90s, yeah, that's accurate. Like maybe like late 90s. What were they suggesting? Did they specify?
Well, no, he wrote it in 1990. Let's see, it was. If Little Things feels like another movie era, that's not a coincidence. It was first written by John Hancock in the 90s, and it's set in 1990. So
okay,
yes,
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, 1990. That's fine. That's fair.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, I dig it.
All right. What else have you been watching this week?
Besides Lovers Rock, which we'll get into later, yes. I watched an episode of The Great with Carrie. It's a what would you say, like a period piece, a comedy.
Yep.
This woman, she becomes the Empress of Russia, but her relationship with her new emperor is not all flowers and roses and rainbows like she thought it was going to be. And it's comedy. It's dark. It's actually hilarious. Like it's nothing like I don't know. It's just that kind of. There was one scene in it where they're fighting a war in the background, and he was like, "I saw your soldiers on the." She was like, "On the way here." She's like, "I saw your soldiers on the side of the road." She's like, "Did they look?" Or he was like, "Did they look happy?" And she was like, "No." And he's like, "Fuck, maybe that means we're losing." Like it's like that kind of thing where it's kind of like off the cuff, like humor that really gets you. But yeah, it's got some darkness to it. But no, it's fun. I look forward to watching the other episodes too. It came out in 2020. It's on Hulu if anyone wants to check it out. If you're into that kind of thing, I had Carrie wanted to watch something, and she asked if I had any suggestions. And after the whole Palm Springs fiasco, I'm not always like, I was like, well, she's like, I'll watch something if it's not dumb. I'm like, well, I don't know what you're gonna think is dumb until we start watching it, and you storm out of the room. And I'm like, it's like, well, you have a very fine taste. And she's like, well, like what's that? And I was like, well, if it doesn't have Timothée Chalamet in it or Rob Stark, Richard Madden, then you're probably not interested. And she's like, well, that's not true. I'm like, yeah, there's one other person. She's like, there's no one else. And then she suggests a movie with Henry Cavill in it. I'm like, yeah, that was the other guy. That was the other situation. And she's like, oh. And I was like, well, maybe we try this thing. And I found it, and she's like, that sounds interesting. That sounds fun. I'm like, all right. So we started watching it, and she enjoyed it. So yeah. Look at that. Nice. Figure something out. So that's going to be our show, I guess.
Nice. Very nice. What else have you been watching this week?
No, that was it. That's all I watched. I watched a lot of stuff this week.
You did. You actually,
I listened to some music. If you wanted to talk about that right now.
Sure. Let me reference the music you listened to last week, because I listened to it. I liked it. Couple things. Okay. Yeah, a couple things that you could have referenced when describing the music sounds like Sonic Youth, The Strokes, Vampire Weekend, Arctic Monkeys, David Bowie, Weezer, Lou Reed.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's a lot of that stuff. Vampire Weekend, you might know their song Oxford Comma. It's very popular in 2008, 2009 ish. I like that stuff a lot. So
yeah. So you checked it out. You did enjoy this?
I did enjoy this. Yes.
Did you catch my vibe where I was like, I could see me listening to this song, floating in a pool on a pizza slice?
Exactly, on a pizza slice. Yep.
You feel like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Absolutely.
Good. Nailed it. I nailed it, guys.
So yeah, what?
Yeah. So I listened to some Grammy music.
Yeah. What kind?
Yeah. The Grammys are coming up in March, I believe.
All right.
And I looked at all the categories. I'll go through them every week. I'll do a different one each time. This week I chose metal. Okay.
Okay.
The Grammys are notorious for not being good or being fair to metal. For actually a long time, it didn't even have its own category. It was just like rock music. I think who the hell won? I don't know.
Well, last
Bob
year,
Dylan won or something.
Oh, you're thinking?
No. I'm saying in the back.
Yeah, you're thinking.
Who was it?
You're thinking of Jethro Tull, I believe.
Yeah, Jethro Tull. Yeah, that's him. I'm sorry, I confused those two. Yeah, but yeah, he won at one point. Tenacious D, like, yeah, it's fun. Like he does have some like metalish music. Yes, I'll admit, but it's just, come on, guys, come on. But this year they got 5 songs out. I'll go through it. Bum Rush from Body Count, Underneath, Code Orange, The In Between, In This Moment, Blood Money from Poppy, and Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe by Power Trip. I like all these songs. I'm going to go out on the record and say Executioner's Tax is going to win this. It's going to be like a posthumous thing. They're going to get the Heath Ledger treatment here. This song actually came out in 2017, but they had a live version in 2020, and the frontman for it, Riley Gale, died in August of 2020. So this live version of the song is getting a nod into the Grammys, even though the original song came out in 2017.
Gotcha.
And it's funny too, because there's 2 other bands, Body Count and Code Orange, in this year's Grammys that were also in the 2018 Grammys, but Power Trip was not actually in those Grammys. So the song that came out in that year wasn't good enough that year. But now that Riley Gale is dead, and by all accounts, he was a pretty stand-up dude, did a lot for his community and everything. But now it's kind of like, all right, we maybe missed the mark in 2018, so here's us making up for it. Bum Rush, it's fronted by Ice-T. No, Bum Rush is a song. I'm sorry. Body Count is fronted by Ice-T. You know Ice-T?
Yes. Delicious
He
drink.
used to be a rapper. It's delicious. It's so good. No, he used to be a rapper.
Yes.
And now he's fronting a metal band, which is kind of neat. This song has potential, just from the current state of affairs. On a lyrical standpoint, obviously Ice-T is outspoken, and you can hear it in the lyrics. I can see this winning just from the topic it decides to go from. I listened to this song while watching a live feed of Wall Street Bets Megathread. It was like live, so all I saw was just comments flying down the screen with this song playing, and it was an adventure. I tell you what. I encourage you to try it. On Monday, when the markets open up, you go ahead and pop on Bum Rush and put a live feed of Wall Street Bets going on their Megathread, and just see what that just brings out inside you. And then the last song I'll go over, the In Between, by In This Moment. That's my dark horse to win. I'd say it's the second best metal sound. As much as, I kind of sounded like I was like, Executioner's Tax shouldn't be on this one, I do believe it should be. It is the best sounding metal song, and also it probably could have been in 2018, and I'm not sure completely why it was shown. It was funny actually, because I was talking to Andy and I was like, have I lost my sound for metal? Like, am I just softer now in my old age? And he was directing me into things to listen to, and he brought up Power Trip, and then I Googled it and I was like, oh yeah, this song's up for a Grammy. He's like, well, that doesn't make sense because it was out in 2017. And I was like, well, he died. So, and he's like, yeah, okay. So he's going to win. But, this song is actually the second best metal sound. It has like this methodical pressure to it. It's just one of those songs that you could attach to like we'll say like a Freddy, or no, not Freddy, Jason. Like, you got Jason walking towards you, all right, and you're throwing stuff at him, and he's not stopping, and it's just got that feeling like he's gonna get me at some point. And it's just like, all right, man. All right. So this is my dark horse to win. But I honestly believe Executioner's Tax is going to take this one. And I encourage everybody to give that song a listen to. Give them all a listen to because it's all worth it. Yeah, that's my my 5 metal songs Grammy edition. And next week we're going to go alternative.
All right. So let's see. Grammys 2021. Supposed to be March 14th is the last the date they're saying for this year.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody's familiar with the rules with the Grammys, but the recording's got to be released between September of 2019 and the end of August of 2020.
Oh.
And they have to just be for sale commercially or made available as some kind of digital recording. So you're like a streaming device or service or anything like that. Nice. But somebody has to listen to it on one of the preferred platforms.
Yes, very nice.
'Cause I remember there was like some kind of, when we were talking about the movies Oscars, like what are the actual guidelines for that? Music, it's not so. Streaming took over music years ago, so this isn't like COVID's not a huge market shakeup for the music industry as it is for movies.
Right. So that's cool, man. I listened to some stuff. I was writing some stuff, and I was listening to some like music to write to. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Their soundtracks are very good. To listen to write to, and that got me to listening to classical, like the best of, not like random classical, but like, the best of, Beethoven and Bach and Chopin and all that shit. And it was like a best of, this, like, what was it called? The playlist on Spotify. It's like this is classical, blah, 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 all the best classical right here, right now. And it was playing stuff. And then it got to the song called The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I was like, what the fuck? It went from, like Waltz in D or, piano concerto in B minor or shit like that. It's the name of the song. And then the next song was like Sorcerer's Apprentice. Like, what the fuck? Like Chopin or like Beethoven wrote a song called Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's pretty cool. And it's like, no, idiot, that was from Fantasia. It's like, oh, okay. I can imagine, but couldn't you imagine like one of those old farts, Mozart or whatever, making a song just randomly not called like Waltz in D? Why are they all called? Yeah. Why are they all called like the thing they are? Just like some dude wrote a waltz or concerto, then just like
that was a flex. That was a flex back then.
Was it?
Be like A minor. Be like, bitch, I did that in B.
Also,
oh shit! All right.
Also, I got to say, like, people think that like remixes are just a thing of now. Like, how many remixes did that the guy do? What's the most meme song of all time? That the most played song of all time? That stupid ass cowboy, the black cowboy.
Lil Nas X?
Huh?
Lil Nas X, Old Town Road?
Yeah, he did like 19 remixes of that. But then you go back to like Chopin or Mozart, and I don't know what Chopin did the song called Nocturne. You know, if I played it for you, know it. But he had like 19.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he played 19. He had like 19 versions of that. So it's like they had remixes back in the 18 whatever. Let me look it up real quick. They did. I'm serious.
Imagine that.
Huh?
No. It's just Mozart being like, now I'm gonna break out my remix for you bitches.
Let me Midnight Sonata. You've heard Midnight. I think you've heard it. Let me see. No. That's Beethoven. You hear that?
You listen to classical music once, and then you're just an expert.
Can you hear that?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Anyways, look up Piano Sonata.
I'll listen to it later. For sure.
Sure. Piano Sonata number 14 in C sharp minor. And then you got Adagio, Sensusa, Allegretto. I don't know Italian. It's a bunch of fucking versions of it. Anyways.
Actually, I got one more thing.
Yes.
In the music world.
Sure.
Ever hear the song Driver's License?
No.
Yeah, so apparently this woman, Olivia Rodrigo, she's a Disney star, actually.
Gotcha.
So she's got that. She had the full force of the TikTok machine behind her and Instagram, Taylor Swift shout out, but she had a song that came out in the last couple weeks that crushed the record for most streams in a day. And then from a non-holiday song, I suppose that's like a nod to Mariah Carey or something. But over 15 million global plays the first day. And then she continued to beat her own record each day. 17 million the following day on Jan 12th. The Spotify guy will say there's truly no direct comparison here. You have newer artists like Tones and I will fuck that. We'll just switch. Lil Nas X and Old Town Road. Yeah. Okay. Yes. That's the level that he brought it to. It's like which took a little bit longer to grow into chart toppers, but a new artist that just comes out of the gate in such a dominant way and just continues to grow. It's really unprecedented. When I last checked, this song had 224 million streams as of January 29th, as of yesterday.
Yes.
And it came out 2 weeks ago.
So we're recording this on January 30th. It currently has 252 million plays.
Jesus.
Yep.
That is a lot. You know what the song is about?
No.
Her getting her driver's license and her driving by her ex's house.
Fantastic.
And lamenting the fact that they are no longer together and that he said that he would be with her when she got her driver's license.
Right. And is there any part of the song where she has to deliberate whether she's going to sit in the front seat or the back seat?
None.
Okay.
None. Well, I see that she learned from Rebecca Black's unfortunate fiasco. She established her seat in the car. Immediately, she said, I am driving.
Good.
And this is the way it's going. And I will sing this song and I will cry all throughout town while I drive by my ex-boyfriend's house, who is now with this other woman.
Well, that's
girl.
That's awful.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And she drops the F-bomb, dude, twice.
No.
And Disney starlet, you know.
Well, if you look at, I think there was a chart of Taylor Swift's, what is it called?
I seen that chart. I know what you're talking about.
The rate of her swearing has gone up exponentially in the last few albums.
Right.
That's not great.
Yeah, she's shedding that
good girl image.
Yeah. I respect it. I'm giving Olivia some crap here. Yeah. But honestly, good for her. She's 250 million streams. That's, hey, man, what the hell am I doing in my life?
Right,
right. This ain't getting streamed. I can't make a song about a driver's license and driving by my boyfriend's house and get 250 million people listen to it. So, hey, props to her.
Right.
Crazy.
I want to shout out real quick the iPhone 12 Max Pro Plus, whatever fucking thing it's called. It's a great phone.
We're not sponsored.
Fantastic phone. I'd highly recommend everyone going out there right now and getting this thing. This is a beast. I jumped from an iPhone 6 Plus to an iPhone 12, so this is it's a lot of getting used to. It's a lot bigger, faster, stronger. It's got multiple cameras in the back. I don't know why I need so many cameras. What was I going to say? Let's see my notes here. Picture-in-picture is great for watching Twitch, but not for Christopher Nolan movies.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy. No, continue to use your microwaves when you watch Christopher Nolan's movies, please.
I was shocked and appalled and I was glad to see, but I had my own old phone. I got home, I went to the Verizon store. I was like, give me a phone, please. And the guy was like, what phone do you want? I was like, iPhone 12 Max Plus. He's like, okay, sir. Goes in the back. He's like, do you want, oh my God, what was it? Do you want Hulu? Do you want Apple Plus? Do you want Apple, what's the show? Apple TV Plus. Do you want, just so many things now, just throwing my way when you get a new phone. It's insane. It's incredible.
Yeah, when I went, they were like, here's 5 things to pick from. Pick one. And I'm like, all right, I'll pick this one. And they're like, good choice.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I don't pick one, do I get less? Do I pay less money? No, it comes with the phone.
Right. So yeah, this phone is.
So yeah.
I don't know what your phone was, but my phone was $1,100. I'm doing the payment plan, obviously. What was I going to say? So Yeah, the guy ended it. I got in there at like 4:45. I left at 5:15. The guy was like, "This is the fastest transaction I've done in a very long time." I'm like, "Yes, sir, I know, because this is all I want. I don't want any of the extra shit." Well, I didn't. I got a case and I got a charger because you can't charge your phone and listen to shit at the same time anymore. So he got me. I got him some. He upsold me and I took it. But at the end of the day, I got out of there pretty quickly. But I want to talk about real quick, the transfer of data from one phone to the other is extraordinarily fast compared to what it used to be. I remember going from the 4 to the 6, and that is the process back then was you basically had to put all your shit, transfer your shit to iTunes, and then plug in your new phone and transfer it from iTunes to there. It was a massive process. But now,
and
yesterday,
hope you had your settings right. Because you could erase everything that was on your iPhone.
Yeah.
If you didn't have your settings correct,
right,
you could erase everything.
If you didn't have a restored backup at the right backup, all your shit was gone. But now with the iCloud, everything automatically backs up. So I had everything from 10 minutes ago. So I literally yesterday sat here with my new phone to the left, my old phone to the right. I hit like 3 buttons and it transferred everything. Like when I say everything, I mean the background. I mean where the apps were. I had every app in the same place that it was in the old phone. Everything was the same except for the size of it. It was just it's insane, the process, how easy the process is now.
Of it.
What else?
The size of that lad.
Size is pretty. What I mean, the physical size, or the hard. What do you say?
Just the size of it, which is the size of it.
The size of it. The
awe.
The thickness.
I am in awe of the size.
I'm in awe of this
girth.
I'm in awe of this lad's girthy thickness. It's not that bigger than this. Much bigger than the 6. I think a little bit taller. It's kind of awkward to look at because I'm looking at it right now with the apps open, and there's like an awkward amount of space between the top and the bottom of the apps. But what else is to say about this? Great for watching stuff. Right, the apps can actually work now because I was at the point where Apple stopped fully supporting the 6. They wouldn't update it all the way.
Yep.
And all these apps, there was a bunch of apps that I physically could not download because the iOS was too far back. So
right, they'll tell you right away.
Yeah, now I can get all of the apps, and all the apps are on here and up to date and all of that stuff. It's
actually hilarious that we still have our old phones. I got an iPhone 5. Carrie has an iPhone 4.
Yeah.
The ones with the blue with the purple plastic on the back.
Yeah.
Like she has one of those, and it's been regulated to being a remote control for our son's speaker.
Yep.
Or Bluetooth speaker in his room. And then the battery life lasts like 20 minutes tops. It has to be plugged in, otherwise it just dies.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's just funny that such a monument to technology is now just a remote control.
Yep.
Let's say like 8 years later.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have fun with it. I got it mostly for the space. I got a 256 gigger. Yeah, bro. The last one I had was like a 16 gigger. So lots more space for bull crap. But no, mostly I have a lot of podcasts. A lot of the Ringer podcasts for some reason are like 300 megs. I'm like, why is this fucking 2-hour show?
Oh, you put them right. Yeah, I forget you download them to your phone.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, I was like, wow. And then, that's the way you do things. I stream it. But
okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the way I've been doing our podcast notes now, putting pictures in, that's filling up my photo section real fast.
Oh, damn. Damn. What? How many GBs you got on that bad boy?
Ooh, I don't know. 16, I think.
16.
No, that ain't right. It's like 64.
Okay, that's more likely.
I don't know. It's been a while since I actually looked. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah, it's 64.
64. Okay, that's.
I've got 6 GBs available. I'm gonna need to do some cleaning.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on. Well, let's get to Lovers Rock real quick. Unless you want me to talk about some games.
You should just made that like a fake ad. Be like, we're gonna take a break, and then just roll this jerk off session about Apple.
That'd been hilarious. Yeah. Do you want to go with Lovers Rock, or can I talk about some games real quick? Do you got some time for games?
Let's talk about the game.
Okay, so I've played a couple new games. I got this game called Shipbreaker, and when I describe what it is, you're going to say, "Sir, that's you're working." It's called a work. It's called going to work, punching a clock, and working. So Shipbreaker is this game where it sets in the future where we have we've colonized the outer rim of Earth, so we have a bunch of ships that are being decommissioned all the time, just like an iPhone, just like old iPhones. These ships are being decommissioned and flushed out, and all their parts are being taken apart. So my job, or your character's job, is to go in and take like a laser beam and chop up all these ships into small enough parts that you could throw them in a furnace, or you put them in a processor, or you put like, the what's the thing that powers the ship, like a reactor core. You have to take the reactor core out, put that in a separate spot. What I like about it is the physics are they feel so good to, like, you're grabbing like chairs. It had like a Half-Life laser beam, like a tractor beam or gravity gun, whatever you want to call it, to grab stuff. It feels so good to grab stuff and pull it out and put it where you want it.
So good.
You have tether lines where you can like tether one thing to another and then sling it into the furnace.
Tether me, daddy.
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay. Feels very good to do all that, to cut a thing open and to drag it out, and yeah, it feels very good. But the thing that feels like work is you basically go in and you have work orders, and you have the beginning of the day is called the beginning of your shift, and the guy is constantly chirping in your ear like, "Okay, Cutter, you got like 5 hours left or 5 minutes left in your shift. Get shit done and get it done." And so you're just in there, and you're like, you got a shift, you got work orders to complete. It's like, work. So you got work orders, you got quests to complete. It's like, burn up 50 million tons of iron or metal or whatever during the day. So I like that a lot. It's on Steam. It's like $20 on Steam. So pretty cheap game if you just want something to relax to. And then last thing is with the iPhone 12 Plus Max came with a month of Apple Arcade. And I looked up the best games on Apple Arcade, and one of them is called Grindstone. So Grindstone is basically the core of it is a matching game. You match the numbers, or the letters, or colors, just like any other of those Candy Crush type things. But it actually has a story to go with it. It's got you can put armor on. You can equip a sword. So if you want to just chop up things around you can do that. And it's got different mechanics where, let's say there's a dude in the grid with you, and he has a 10 next to his head. That means you have to do a combo of 10. You have to get a 10 combo, and then hit him, and then attack him when you get near him. So, and there's other things where things can attack you if you stop your combo next to them. They'll hit you, and you basically have three health bars or whatever. So if you get hit 3 times, your run is over. It's very interesting. I like it a lot. So it's called Grindstone. It's on the Apple Arcade thing there. So it's very good. Very fun.
Grinded.
Yeah, buddy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Glad you're having fun.
Huh?
So I'm glad you're having fun.
I'm having a bunch of fun in my life right now. I got all the things. I just realized I have all the things. I have a new phone, a new PC, got a TV. I'm a complete. I'm like what's his name?
You're complete? Do you have diamond hands?
I do have diamond hands. I'm like Jack in Fight Club, where remember that scene where they're in the bar, and Jack is talking to Tyler right after his apartment exploded, and he's like, "Man, I was so close to being complete. I had a wardrobe that was getting decent. I had a furniture that was getting very respectable. I was almost there. I almost had a complete consumer lifestyle altogether." And Tyler's like, "Now it's gone. Now it's all gone." And he's like, "It's all gone." So I don't know. I don't know. I was getting there, going with that, but yeah.
Yeah, you just said you got everything, and now it's all gone. So
yeah.
Are you suggesting that I come to your apartment and blow it up?
I think you should. I think we should. And
then we start a fight club?
We should start a fight club. We should commit insurance fraud. And with the money that we get from the insurance company, we'll start a fight club. We'll start a dealership or what do you call that? What do you call if you own a bunch of McDonald's or franchise? We should start a fight club franchise.
Yes.
Franchise the motherfucker.
Yes. You know what'd be hilarious?
What's that?
If this was just all a figment of your imagination. I am Tyler Durden, your co-host Tyler Durden.
Yep.
This is released, and in reality, when people listen to this, they don't hear my voice; they just hear you talking.
Yes. Yeah, I could do that. I could edit it so I'm just me talking to myself. That'd be interesting.
That'd be actually pretty hilarious. People have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah. But anywho, so with that, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get to our review this week?
Nah, man, I think I covered it.
Alrighty, so with that, let's get to our review.
Don't sell, hold.
Huh? You motherfucker. Lovers Rock, directed by Steve McQueen, from 2020. Stars. I don't have mine from again. I'm such a bad host. I'm gonna take that again. I'm gonna have my.
I'll tell you who it stars. You ready?
I'm gonna have my. No. I got it. I'll start over.
Let me
start over here. Okay.
It stars Mercury Sound.
So, directed by Steve McQueen from 2020. This is Lovers Rock. It stars Amarha, Che, St. Auburn, Michael Ward, and Shaniqua Akwok. It's spelled AKWOK.
You should have never found your phone. You should have never found it. You were better off not even saying a name.
How would you pronounce that? Shaniqua?
Hey, I'm not getting involved in this.
DION, what did you think of Lovers Rock?
Hey, listen, man. I remember telling you that I was watching this before I fell asleep, and I was like, all right, like I can vibe with this. I might have just been like really drowsy and not really paying attention to what I was watching. I definitely didn't make it to the last half, but I'm going to say that it started out pretty cool. I like the vibe that it had.
Hold on.
Definitely
did you watch
weird.
The whole thing eventually?
I watched the whole thing.
Okay,
the first time I only watched half of it because I fell asleep. This time I watched the whole thing.
Because it would not be unprecedented for you to not watch the entire thing of a thing. Just saying.
But I'll say this took a weird twist 2/3 of the way in, and ultimately I'm gonna say there wasn't much to this. When you come from watching Mangrove, and I understand you told me to detach all my expectations and everything, and I think I did. Honestly, it's just. This episode, it was just a hangout episode. It was a house party.
It's not an episode. It's
a movie. The vibe. Well, yeah, movie. Well, I mean, they kind of cut it in episodes, so you call it what you want. I get it. I'm not really arguing that. It is a movie length episode. How about that?
Yep. Okay, that's fair.
But yeah. So honestly, it was cool to see this situation. Black people being able to have a good time. Even in an area, I suppose that they're not supposed to have a good time. Not saying that it's just white people. You know, you can't have a good time if you're black. That's pretty much the way about it. Lovers Rock, you know, it was pretty clear. It kind of sounds like a place, but it's a style of music. You can tell like right from the beginning. They're setting up their speakers, and you knew what it was going to be. And it's just, you know, just having a good time, like getting a feel for everybody. Silly games, man. Mercury Sound. But yeah, this thing was all about good vibes, and it was fine. But if you want to say some good stuff before I get into the bad stuff,
Jesus.
Go ahead.
I don't know what bad stuff you could be talking about. It's such a great feeling movie. It's like a warm blanket that you just put on, wrap around you, and just enjoy it for an hour and 10 minutes. Especially in 2020, when all this movie is about the things that we couldn't experience at all through the entire course of the year. It just makes you feel such a feeling of nostalgia for the year before, and hopefully next year maybe. But yeah, it just made you feel so good. A lot of times I will think about a movie, how I think about a movie and how I think of if I enjoy the movie or not is whether or not when it came away from it, wanting to spend more time with these people just in general. And so you have a movie like this where it is just about hanging out. The entire premise of the movie, entire theme of the movie is just hanging out. And I definitely want to hang out with these people in this time period, in this environment, with this music, with all of this energy going on. This is a fantastic, like, just depiction of, you know, what is it like to hang out in this time, in this area, with these people, in this movement, with this what do you call it, culture, this type of culture that before I've seen these movies, I've never been exposed to. This is, if you're looking for a theme of these movies, or overall central theme to these movies, it is very serious. It is very, impactful about this unjustness of society in general, but also definitely at that time, at that place. But this is also just a movie about the joyousness of being being black and being a West Indies person, and showing a different side of that culture, and showing the good side, and showing the enjoyment of being these type of people at this time, at this place, on this one evening. So I think it was a very, very nice little movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Silly kids. So
yeah.
I get that note? Did I get it?
You broke out a little bit,
I'll
but
get
it
into some bad
definitely might be
stuff.
on your side, yeah.
It'll be on my side, yeah. So I'll get into some bad stuff. While what you're saying is true, there are parts of this movie that I don't think anybody would want to relive. And I think this, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's interesting to see that even in the backdrop of like such racism, that there is still this level of everyone's still human, you know, and there's black on black violence in this. That dude there was one guy, attempted rape. That was definitely a sexual assault.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
You remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we say this is a hangout episode and you just want to be there and feel this vibe, like, this is kind of also like the dark parts of house parties and this culture. And you think about how black people in general in this time period were going through so much, but then you're like black women like super objectified in this episode, and they came under the guise of like being like, oh, this is lovers rock, and you know everyone's here to have a good time, and let's sway with the music, and let's bump and grind and stuff like that. But the way that some characters talked to the women in this, not great, Bob. Some of those situations that some of these women found themselves in, definitely not great. It was great that that woman, the other woman, was there to rescue that one from, I can only imagine was going to end in a rape.
Yes.
And then they also had this weird scene where her cousin, someone's cousin, comes back, and they're just talking about, oh, my daddy beat your mama and stuff like that. And it was like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, this, it was totally out. The bouncer was trying to keep him out, but had to bring him in because cops were driving by. So this is what I'm talking about, where it's like the first 2/3 of this movie, it was good. I enjoyed it. But this last third was just this weird turn that you weren't really expecting. And maybe it just kind of, it puts together the whole vision of the director, I suppose, or to show every aspect of this situation, this party, this lifestyle. But you didn't get that weird part. Like, what did you think of the last third of that movie?
Well, before I address that, let me just say before I forget that the scene that most people are going to take away from this movie, and the scene that people are talking about mostly with this movie, was actually improvised. There's a scene that you were alluding to where they sing. What was it? You had the name of it. The song that we were singing a cappella. Silly games. So that scene ended, or the song ended, and the scene was supposed to end there, but everyone was so caught up in the moment that they ended up filming that. What happened? That was all improvised, and the camera move was improvised, and everything that happened in that scene was improvised. So it's a very, very special moment in that movie, right there. So it's a very good moment. Everyone should just watch.
I mean, as annoying as that is, I get it now that you know that. And I didn't know that was improvised, so
yep.
It makes sense why they kept it in there. I saw a lot of people were kind of like, that went on way too long, and I am one of those people. But if it wasn't like an organic thing, that's pretty neat.
Yes, it is. So yeah, going back and just addressing your concern there for the last part of it, I think just in general, just backing up here and talking about movies in general, and talking about like the way we view the movies and interpret the movies. Movies are going to be a lot of things at once, and I think just not for me, just for yourself going forward, I think you have to sort of let that be, let the movie be what it is, and not sort of like expect it to be one thing, or look at it from a perspective of if it's not one thing, and if it does go off in different directions, and if it doesn't keep a sustained central theme throughout, and if it does contradict itself, or if it does seem to be hypocritic or whatever that word is, if there does seem to be a meandering thought process through it, that's not that's not an accident, or it's not a mistake by the filmmaker. I think that is on purpose. I think this movie, just like a lot of movies, talking about a character or a scene or an environment or a culture or a bunch of people, there's going to be parts in the movie where it's not going to make sense. There's going to be like, why did you put this in here? Why did you put this depiction of people or women, or why did you depict these people as being violent, or why did you depict them as being sexually aggressive against each other? Why would you put that in there if you're making this episode about the beauty and the compassion and the niceness of the community? Well, it's because it's not all going to be one thing. You know what I mean? If you're at a house party with them, what?
Well, I'm just saying, I think this was intentional. I don't think this was like me expecting it to be one thing. Like I don't really expect anything when I turn my brain off when I go and watch things. So the ride that I went on, like I said, it was very abrupt, where it's just like you got this one guy screaming in the party, and then you got the sexual assault, and then you got this, and I feel like the director, especially with the way Mangrove played out, and I assume the rest of these movies, they're deliberate in what they do. It's intentional. Yeah. It's in there for a reason.
Right.
So I can't. I don't think the onus should be on me that I should expect something, or I shouldn't expect something. I think but I'm just kind of wondering what the explanation for it was. I suppose. Well, I'm not saying like, oh, that shouldn't be there, because the director clearly had a vision for it. It's just it was confusing to me. I would only imagine that this is just to show all aspects of this party, that even though they have their own turmoil going on, they are still people, and people do bad things, even if it is to themselves or to the people that they're in a struggle with. I suppose
that's exactly what it was.
So I get that. It just it's just, that was just a very jarring thing. It just, I don't know. Yeah. You are right that maybe I expected something, but going into that, it was just kind of like, well, this is fun. This is the fun vibe. Yeah, let's party. But then it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to party like this.
Coming away from it, I from the entire series, it is such a look at, and it's highlighting an area of the world and highlighting people and culture and experiences that I've never even thought about existing before. And I think that showing it in different aspects, like you said, it is showing it all. It's all showing it everything, all warts and all. You know what I mean? The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's showing everything that you can expect from a night like that. If you were there, this is probably a good example of what you would see, whether you want to see it or not, whether it feels good to watch it or not, or see it or whatever. I feel like his prerogative was to be like, listen, this is what the area was like. This is what life was like back then, with the bad and the good mixed in. So,
yeah, my biggest takeaway from that was hard to shake was like, if anybody caught anyone trying to sexually assault, rape anybody, I can't imagine they'd be welcomed back into the party with welcome arms. That guy, he was kind of like, you always had this weird feeling about him, while even in the beginning of the movie. But like, he's just like he's in the dance room with everybody, and he's just like, kind of throwing a shit fit, and gets his beer stolen from him, and he was just like, oh, grumble, grumble. And it's like, how are you even in this party right now? Like, if she told the bouncer that you just tried to rape someone, I feel like your ass would be out there, because that bouncer, he was in that dude's face. He's like, remember when he pinned him against the wall? He's like, if you do anything in here, it's me and you. Yeah. And it's like, all right, I get it. All right. Like, it should have been with that way with the attempted rape right there. It should have been like, get out. But I don't. Hey, I guess that's how this plays parties. I like that bouncer dude. The bouncer dude was fun though. When they had that, when the beat got like heavier and it seemed like oh, business is picking up. Like, this is this sound that they're going with. People are starting to relate to that, and it was like the anger it went from kind of being like a lover's night to like, you could see the Black Power kind of thing coming up, like we're one, and everyone's like got their fists pumping and stuff like that. And you got the bouncer coming in, and it kind of had this illusion, like he's like, all right, I'm coming in here just so you all know that there is some sense of lawless or law, presence in here where someone, if there's a fight, you're gonna have to deal with me too. But then like you see him like later on, and he's like bopping, and it's like, yeah, he's feeling it. Like it was just cool that this dude, he's like so stoic at the door guarding everybody. Yep. He even had the brief run-in with the 4 white dudes when that woman tried to leave the party. But then he comes in, he's just like, yeah, I know how to party too. It was fun. I like that. I like that guy.
Yep. Yeah, so we're running a little bit long, so I'll just sort of wrap it up a little bit. But yeah, some of the best scenes of the year were in this movie, like the one I already mentioned, where they're singing, silly games, where the kung fu song comes on. It's one of that song is always one of those like, oh, okay, that cheesy ass song from the 70s. But you can imagine being alive back then, being young back then, and be like, yes, I fucking love this song. It's one of those moments. Again, just these moments in this movie and this entire movie in general just makes you so wistful and so nostalgic for being in a situation like that, of being in a club and hearing your song come on, and be like, yes, my fucking jam. It's been like,
yeah. Their reaction to kung fu fighting was my reaction to the Mortal Kombat theme.
Yes. Yep. Mortal Kombat or what's that drum and bass, the techno song, so Sandstorm. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I dropped it to Sandstorm a few times.
Yep. So I guess that's about all I have to say about that. If you have anything else you want to mention.
Yeah, just Mercury Sound. All right, I'm done.
All right. So that was our review of...
That's where it came from. That's where like Jason Derulo and all that stuff, saying your name in songs, that's where it came from, man.
Yeah. So that was Lovers Rock. That was the second in the Small Axe series. There's 3 more. Based on the first 2, I'm not going to assign you anymore, but on your own, does this seem like a series that you want to keep going with?
I made that
one. Okay.
I might check one more out, and if I vibe with it, maybe I'll keep going. But yeah, it's a fine line. Yeah. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Great.
Do you feel, having watched all of them, did it peak with Mangrove? Because that seems to be the one that everybody talks about.
Yeah, that is the most like conventional narrative as far as like this is a movie with a beginning, middle, and end. It had the most I don't know what you would call it, the most concrete ending. You know what I mean? It had a you don't like movies that don't have a good, or not a good ending, but you know what I mean, like it's not successful. What am I trying to say? The ending had a button on it, huh?
Yeah, it's not like open-ended, or it's like, and they walked off into the night, and it was like something like that. It's just like this. There was power behind the ending. I like grand finale and stuff like that.
It stuck to landing in a way that had a conclusion to it. I would definitely say the back 3 of Small Axe don't have that. So I think if that's what you're looking for, I would definitely say maybe skip the last 3. But they are very good. Okay. What's his name? John Boyega is in the next one. Red, White, and Blue. He's very good in that. Oh. The other 2 are called Alex Weedle and Education. I saw them all and I enjoyed them all very much. But I would say if you're drawn to things that have a conclusive ending, I would say maybe skip the last 3. Right. Yes. So that'll do it for...
I'll be bringing to the table next week for some more Grammy songs, the alternative, and I'm going to watch some Skull Island, so I'll see where I can fit something in, plus the movie, whatever you're going to have me watch.
Yeah, maybe there's a couple things coming out in the next couple weeks that are coming out. I think, Nomadland, and I believe there's another one. I think maybe Promising Young Woman is coming off of premium VOD. I think it might be rentable for like $6, something like that. So maybe we'll check out some stuff like that.
Where?
Yeah.
Promising Young Woman is the one we talked about already.
Yeah,
right?
well, I talked about it for a few minutes last week.
Yeah.
With
well, you wanted me to watch that, right? That's the one that I said I noped out of. Yeah, I noped out of that.
Yep. No, you noped out of Pieces of Woman. Yeah. Pieces of Woman was on Netflix.
Oh, Pieces of Woman. Okay, yeah, I noped out of that one. Yeah, okay. Promising Young Woman. Okay.
There's another one that came out to Netflix this week without any fanfare, really, called The Dig. It has Carey Mulligan is in a new movie this week.
Ah, yeah, your girl. Okay.
Yeah, Carey Mulligan is in a movie called The Dig with Ralph Fiennes. It's on Netflix, so maybe we'll check that out for next week. But yeah, a bunch of stuff coming out. So that will do it for episode 102 of the Can I Say Something podcast. I've been Damian.
I've been Diamond Hand Deej.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Don't sell hold.